All right, what is going on, guys? We've got the NFL. So we are going to talk about all the games on Sunday. I got 6 best bets for you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get into it. So first game, we've got the Cardinals in the Saints. I don't necessarily understand this line. It would be Arizona minus 6.5. I don't think New Orleans defense has gotten any better. Don't trust their QB. So give me Arizona minus 6.5. Don't have any plays in this game. So really no leans. Over under of 42.5 over on FanDuel. I do like the over in that one. Arizona, not the greatest defense, so I could see some scoring. I just don't trust the Saints, but it would be Arizona minus 6.5 in the over. Bengals and the Browns. Speaking of no defense, we got the Bengals. I like them to win this one. Now, I think there's a lot of evidence that says week 1, take divisional dogs, especially when they're at home. I just don't see it here. I think Flacco's going to throw the ball. Obviously, we know he's a gunslinger. Jerry Jeudy over 4.5 receptions, I think is a probably good best bet. I ended up taking this earlier in the week when it was minus 120. It's like minus 150 on some books now. But I do like that. I think Chase Brown should have a pretty decent day. I just don't trust Cleveland to run the ball. Jerome Ford, not super strong running back. But I do think Flacco will have holes to throw the ball in. Njoku probably has a pretty decent game here. Zero faith in this Bengals D. Over 47.5. Seems pretty nice. Probably take the Bengals team total over. I think Burrow goes nuts. It's just, can the defense do anything? Next game, Raiders and the Patriots. How's Genty going to do? That is the question mark here. We do see that Las Vegas plus 2.5 on the road in New England. Give me New England minus 2.5 here. Don't like the situation. Aston Genty under rushing yards is kind of something I looked at. His line for attempts is at 16.5. I've got him at 15.5, so one under that. If we look, average 4.4 yards per carry. I mean, he's going to have to average over 5 to hit that number. So Genty, you can get him under 72.5 right now on some books. So I do lean towards that. But it would be the Patriots minus 2.5. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. This one should be interesting. I'm expecting a shootout. 47 feels pretty light. I don't think the Bucs have made significant gains on the defensive side. These games are usually pretty good between Tampa Bay and Atlanta. So I would definitely lean towards the over. Our first best bet is going to be Baker Mayfield. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 128 on FanDuel. I like that play there. Not sure what we're going to get out of Penix here. I think he's going to be throwing the ball. I almost looked at Kyle Pitts or Bijan Robinson. I kind of like Bijan Robinson over his receptions at plus money here. That is a play I looked at. Let's see, Bucky Irving, anytime touchdowns, pretty good. New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. So Jaden Daniels going up against Russell Wilson. I don't trust Wilson in this spot. That said, I think the Giants have improved a little bit. So kind of want to lean Giants plus 6.5 actually. But on the road, I don't have a ton of confidence in them. I do like the under here. Russell Wilson, I have zero faith in him. Terry McLaurin, under receptions, under receiving yards is something I looked heavily at. Obviously, he missed training camp with the holdout situation, so he might come out a little rusty. I think Debo is going to see the ball a decent amount. What's going to happen with the running back situation with Washington? It's kind of wait and see. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. We'll see who comes out on top in that one. Carolina and Jacksonville. I mean, two really bad teams. It probably comes down to a field goal. I think this is right. I would lean Carolina plus 3.5 actually. Will I bet it? God, no. These teams are just so bad. I think Travis Hunter's an interesting one. I want to wait and see on this one, but I do lean over his receiving yards in this game. But nothing I want to touch in this game, to be honest with you. Miami and Indy. How's Tua going to do? Daniel Jones in this offense. I already talked about it. He's kind of a play action kind of guy. Gave out Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 rushing attempts. If you haven't seen the video, if you guys know Daft Previews over on YouTube, go watch that. I did a collab with him. But I had Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 rushing attempts. This is one the line has moved to where Indy went from being the dog to the favorite, which is very interesting. Miami's got a pretty high-powered offense. I would still go Miami on the money line here at minus 105. Over under a 46.5. I'd probably lean towards the under 47.5. I just don't trust Daniel Jones. I think in order to keep, Miami in check, they're going to have some really long, drawn-out drives, really try to control the clock here. So I do lean towards the under. Pittsburgh and the Jets, Jets. Aaron Rodgers. What are we going to get from Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. But one play I do like today is Jaylen Warren over 2.5 receptions. I do think he's going to be checking the ball down a lot. His passing yards line just a hair over 200. So I do think we're going to see a lot of checkdowns here from Rodgers. DK Metcalf receptions over 4.5. I do lean towards the under in that one. Garrett Wilson, I did like his over 4.5 receptions. That is a prop I seriously considered. Justin Fields rushing yards, always obviously on the table there. In terms of who wins, I'm going to go New York Jets +3. I don't trust Rodgers, man. I think we're going to see a really good defensive game, obviously with a 38.5 over-under. But it'd be Jets +3 for me. Tennessee and Denver. Cam Ward, first real game going up against Bo Nix at the Mile High Stadium. So we'll see how the elevation kind of factors into this. But one play I really love, Tyler Lockett, over 21.5 receiving yards. Now, Calvin Ridley's obviously your main receiver, but we got Lockett in that too. You got Pat Surtain's going to be covering Ridley. I just don't like this spot for him. He's heavily favored to go under 4.5 receptions. I think that opens up the door for Lockett. You can take his over 2.5 receptions at plus money. I just ended up going over 21.5 receiving yards. I think he could obviously get that in one play, but I think you could have a pretty decent day here. I think Pollard probably plays a pretty big factor today. So I was looking at his over rushing attempts. I can see that going over today. And then Bo Nix, obviously, I think Cortland Sutton over 4.5 receptions is a pretty good look there. Ultimately, I think 8.5 is a little too much. So I'll take Tennessee plus 8.5. Pretty decent D's going up against each other. Very, very slight lean towards this under 42.5. San Francisco and Seattle. Sam Darnold against Brock Purdy. What are we going to get today? I don't know. Should be interesting. Pearsall over reception seems kind of nice, right? You got Jennings, who he should be okay. I think it's really just going to kind of be Pearsall and Kittle, I think, kind of running this offense. So one of those two should go well over their receptions. Kind of like Pearsall to go over. McCaffrey, anytime touchdowns, ridiculously juiced at -150. Obviously, news this week, he's had some calf issues. Terrible news for all those fantasy owners that have him. But on the road, kind of want to take Seattle here plus 1.5. I trust Sam Darnold when it's not the postseason. So slight lean towards Seattle plus 1.5. Houston and the Rams. This one, we see the Rams -3. I like this. I think the Rams at home, they do a great job of managing the game. This would be the Rams -3 for me in this one. Over under of 43.5. Actually lean a little towards the over in this one. Detroit and Green Bay, probably one of the better games on. This one is going to be an interesting one, but I do have a play in this. We're going to fade Matthew Golden. We're going to take him under 50.5 receiving yards. Still a decent amount of receivers on that Packers team. Obviously, that Love has more trust in. Dontavian Wicks, right? Reed. So guys like that. I just don't like the spot for him in his first game. So we're going to take his under 50.5 receiving yards at -110 on DraftKings. Ultimately, who wins the game? I think it's going to be a hell of a game. For me, it's going to be Green Bay -2 just because it's in Lambeau. That's just where I lean. But it's coin flip type of game there for sure. Baltimore and Buffalo should be another great game. Josh Allen at home. Give me Josh Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts is my best bet, -114 on FanDuel. In terms of who wins this, I think Buffalo comes down with it. So Buffalo on the money line at home. That's where I've got this one. It's just, I don't necessarily trust their defense. I think we see it by the over-under. I think it is going to be an absolute shootout. Buffalo team total over probably going to be the safer play. Minnesota and Chicago, pretty good game. We'll see how McCarthy does. Caleb Williams. This will be one on Chicago. Chicago on the money line +102. I really don't want to trust McCarthy in this spot. O'Connell's not really a run guy. He is a pass guy. So I can see McCarthy maybe losing some confidence in this game early. And Chicago kind of pulling ahead in the second half. So Chicago on the money line for me in that one. All right, let's get into our best bets and get you guys on your way. Okay, so first best bet, Baker Mayfield over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen over 6.5 rush attempts. Got to remember, kneel downs count as well as rush attempts. So if Buffalo's winning, ball in the fourth quarter and they kneel down 3 times, that's 3 rush attempts. I do think Baltimore's going to be blitzing like crazy. Allen should be scrambling, so I really like this one. Jaylen Warren over 2.5 receptions. Like I said, I think Rodgers has to check it down a decent amount here, so I like Warren to go over that number. Tyler Lockett over 21.5 receiving yards. Calvin Ridley's going to be the main guy. He's going to be kind of off, off on the second guy. So I really like him to go over this number. Matthew Golden under 50.5 receiving yards. Then we're going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. Anytime touchdown -115 on BetMGM. First week, so we're just doing half a units. Might even do half a units next week as well as we kind of get into the feel of this season. But appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'll catch you in tomorrow's MLB video.